On this final day of summer 2018, we welcome you to the Friday Night Showdown presented by Kaiser Permanente. Tonight at SunTrust Park, it's game 2 of a 4-game series between the Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies. A big crowd filing in for Friday night fireworks and also hoping to see the Braves trim their magic number in the Eastern Division race. At the moment, the magic number for Atlanta to win the title stands at 4 games. And tonight, Julio Teheran has the ball for the Braves in the second game of 4. Hi again, friends, along with Tom Glavine, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey. Welcome back to the ballpark. Braves offense got going last night. They scored 8 runs. They knocked with 10 hits. And Freddie Freeman had a big part in it, fellas. And Joe, for Atlanta, as Freddie Freeman goes, so goes the Braves offense. And right now, Freddie's as hot as a dancing bobcat, right?
Yes, he is, with things on fire, the way he's running around, too, stealing bases and everything. But his last 12 games, Freddie is back on track. And certainly, if the Braves are going to go anywhere, if they're going to win this division, if they're going to advance, if they've got any designs on winning a world championship, they got to have the big first baseman on fire, and he is right now. And no better time than this last week of the season when so much is on the line.
Yeah, no question. If they're going to go far, Freddie's their guy. He anchors that lineup. Got through that little bit of a slump there at the beginning a couple of weeks ago, and since the day off in the Boston series, he certainly has caught fire, and he needs to continue to do that.
And hopefully Julio Teheran will catch fire as well for the Braves. Good ERA of late, fellas. The only question is, can Julio limit the self-inflicted damage?
Well, no question, he's got to go out there tonight and have a good ball game. You know, the Braves, in his last 8 starts, you see there he's 1-1 and has pitched well. The Braves needed to win that game last night to kind of squelch any thoughts that Philadelphia had coming in here, sweeping this series and getting back in this race. They got it. Julio needs to continue it tonight, and he also is auditioning, as we said, for the playoff roster. He wants to be a part of that. He's going to go out there tonight, Joe, and show that he wants to be and needs to be a part of that.
And it all starts with the first inning. The first inning is so crucial for Julio, and of course walks. If he can cut down on the walks tonight, he's got a great chance to win.
And he'll be facing Nick Pivetta, hard-throwing right-hander for the Phillies. It's game 2. Braves won game 1 last night. The magic number is 4. And game 2 is coming up at SunTrust Park on a beautiful baseball night next. Blooper versus Bohr. And Justin Bohr with some dirty pool. Blooper's not going to stand for that. Maybe that'll fire up the Braves again behind Julio Teheran, who's got the ball for Atlanta tonight in another very important individual and team matchup.
Making his 30th start on the year, 9-8 with a 3.97 ERA. He's pitched well against the Phillies in his career. 22 games, 9-6 record with a 3.5 ERA. So look for him to go out there tonight and pound the zone. Hopefully, Joe, like Joe said, stay away from the walks and continue to put these Phillies to rest.
Absolutely, Tommy, and his 4 keys go right to that point. His first key tonight, first batter walks, the leadoff batter in a ball game this year, believe it or not. 1 for 19, one hit, 1 for 19, but 10 walks. So that has added into an ERA that's very high. So his first inning ERA 7.14. It drops to 2.14 in the second inning and beyond. He's very good. It's just getting through the first 3 outs.
So let's see what Julio has in store against this Philadelphia ball club. He's 1-0 against him this year. Different look for Gabe Kapler's club. Justin Bohr will be in the cleanup spot on their Toyota starting 9. Wilson Ramos is also behind the plate. Roman Quinn bats 9th. Nick Pivetta 8th for Philadelphia, which is running out of time. The Phillies have a very tough road trip. They have this game and 2 more in Atlanta. They then go to Colorado for 4 before heading home to face the Braves in the final series of regular season play next weekend at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies scored in the first inning last night. It was a 1-out walk that came home against Kevin Gausman. Let's hope Julio can avoid that trouble with Cesar Hernandez here in the first inning tonight. The final day of summer. Can you believe it? And it is a beautiful baseball night. Not a cloud in the sky as we're underway. 1 ball, no strikes. Cesar Hernandez at 254 on the year. Pops one out of play, and it's an even count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies came to Atlanta winners of 4 of 6. They've now won 4 of 7 after the Braves beat them 8-3 last night. Phillies have hit 10 home runs in their last 7 games. Something to keep an eye on tonight. Check swing roller foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gabe Kapler's club had a 1.5 game lead in the division in August. The Braves have picked up 8 games on them since over the last 39 played. And that's where we stand now with the Braves 6.5 up. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Hernandez, the Phillies leadoff man and second baseman. And foul back.
I'm with you, Tommy. I'd love to see Julio just pound the zone tonight. If they hit the ball, put it in play, and get some base hits, that's one thing. But he issued a career high 6 walks in 4 innings against Washington his last time out.
Yeah, that's kind of a good news, bad news. His opponent average against is really good, but his walks are a career high. So, you know, while you might say, well, he's pitching great, the teams are only hitting 198 against him. Well, they don't have to hit that high because they're getting a lot of free passes.
Yeah, that's that self-inflicted damage I was talking about in the open. And Julio's got a 3-2 count now. And that's rifled to right field. It's going to be a leadoff home run. 1-0 Phillies. Cesar Hernandez hits his 14th homer. That's the 25th home run Julio has allowed this year. A no-doubter, and ricocheted off the brick wall near the entrance to the Chop House.
Yeah, trying to go down and away. Cut it right down the middle.
See, that was set up to me, guys, by the 2-2 pitch.
Sure.
They tried to go high. You know, they wanted the high target. And I've said repeatedly, if you go to that pitch 2-2 and they don't swing and you miss, full count. Now you got to throw a strike, and the hitter's sitting on that.
So Rhys Hoskins is the hitter, and Julio delivers a strike. It's been a rough September for Rhys Hoskins. He's 15 for 67 at the plate. Braves held him in check last night with an 0 for 3, but he was the man who walked and scored to put the Phillies in front 1-0. 32 homers for Hoskins. Last night he played first base. Tonight he's in left field. And a straightaway center. Ender's going to try to pick this one up. He struggled for a moment in the twilight sky, but Hoskins is retired. A little adventure, but Ender makes a good play, and there's the first out.
Yeah, he didn't see that ball for for a while, but kept looking and found it. Tough sky right now.
And not a cloud up there to help.
What a lonely feeling that must be.
All you can do is just keep looking, try to find that satellite that's floating around up there.
And he did, in front of his Drupal Cabrera. Cesar Hernandez, his 7th career leadoff homer. It's 1-0 Phillies. And now Cabrera takes low, ball 1. Cabrera had 2 hits in 4 tries last night. And time called by Cabrera. So the first inning bugaboo for Julio Teheran has continued tonight. He's allowed 8 first inning homers this season. And this one's popped up toward left. Acuna, he's looking for it. Ender's going to try to help him out, and he does. Good play by the Braves center fielder. Acuna couldn't find the ball.
Ender had a beat on it the whole way. And when Ronald didn't move, Ender just kept coming.
Yeah, good read by him and good reaction by Ender. Not to just take for granted routine fly ball to that side of the field. He was, as you say, Joe, tracking it all along just in case, and good thing he did.
I always love it when the infielders point. Like, that's going to help. So here's Justin Bour, one of the many acquisitions by the Phillies, former Marlin first baseman. He's hit 20 home runs this season. And he's got the start at first base. Line drive toward left. Acuna should have no trouble with this one, and that is the inning. Cesar Hernandez with a leadoff homer. It's 1-0 Phillies. Braves coming up for the first time next. Homer. Braves are coming up for the first time. Atlanta got 2 in the bottom half of the first last night to turn around the game. Let's see if Acuna and company can do that for Brian Snitker. His Toyota starting lineup almost identical to last night's, with one exception. Tyler Flowers is in harness. Albies will hit 7th, Swanson 8th, and Nick Pivetta is on the mound for Philadelphia. He too has had a rough go of it of late.
31st start on the year, 7-13 record. He's had good success against the Braves, 4-1, but they might be catching him at the right time. Last 6 starts, 0-4 with an almost 6 ERA.
And the first one for Ronald misses high. 1 ball, no strikes. Eye-popping numbers for Mr. Acuna, who's hit 8 leadoff homers this year. Almost tried to steal a strike, didn't get it. 2-0 the count. That's lashed out of play. 2 balls and a strike. It'll be very interesting to see how Gabe Kapler manages Nick Pavetta's innings tonight. They told Vince Velasquez last evening, go as hard as you can for as long as you can. And then it was a parade of relievers after his 3 innings of work. And really for the Phillies, with 16 relief pitchers and a sense of real desperation to try to stay alive, it is every man on red alert in that Philadelphia clubhouse. 2-2 pitch. Almost hit him with a breaking ball. Full count.
Curveball is one of his best pitches. That one got away from him, but he relies on that a lot for an out pitch.
Oh, that just missed that elbow guard.
That's where he's got to learn how to just stick that thing out there a little bit.
But all is right with the world. Acuna walks to start the bottom of the first inning.
Saw that pitch at 96. That's about the top end for Pavetta. Range is 93, 96 with that curveball and slider. Originally drafted and signed by the Nationals out of New Mexico Junior College. A 4th round pick in 13.
Washington had to have Jonathan Papelbon, and Pavetta was the price they paid to get him. So a runner at first for Ender Inciarte, the Braves center fielder, batting .264. He had a pair of hits last night. And a bunt try is fouled at the plate. 0-1. Jerry Davis is our home plate umpire tonight, one of the best in the business. Pat Hoberg, Brian Knight, and Hunter Wendelstedt are on the bases. You'll be seeing Jerry a lot in postseason play. It's almost a guarantee he'll be working the playoffs. He's worked 143 postseason games as an umpire. That's a major league record. And he's been a crew chief for the World Series 3 separate times. St. Louis, Missouri native Jerry Davis tonight behind the plate.
I love the way he sets up. Got a real wide stance, but no matter which way the catcher moves, he doesn't move with him. He stays right behind, centered over home plate.
1 ball, 1 strike. Instead to first. Swing and a miss. There's that good heat. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's good live fastball so far.
Ramos 26% on caught stealings this year. He's 27% for his career.
Ender got a piece of that to stay alive, and we'll go back to work behind in the count. Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis hope to follow. Atlanta up for the first time, and that one got away, and Bohr got in the way of Acuna, but that won't prevent him from reaching second. So a throwing error by Pavetta puts Acuna in scoring position. And the Phillies defense, which has given them all kinds of problems all year long and already in this series, rears its ugly head in the bottom of the first inning.
First base umpire Pat Hoberg noticed the interference here, the obstruction, but if you've got to run around Justin Bohr, you've got to run a long way.
So a hit could tie the game here for Ender. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it's a breaking ball. He fooled him. 1 out. Pavetta's been knocked around quite a bit in his early days as a major league pitcher. He went 8-10 last year with a 6.0 ERA. He's 7-13 this year, but don't tell that to the Braves. For whatever reason, he's had Atlanta's number. A 4-1 record in 7 career starts.
Well, good live arm and good breaking ball you see there. Just a question of being able to do it more consistently.
Freddie Freeman ratcheted up his good work at the plate last night with a 3rd inning double, his 40th double of the year. He's also knocked in 92 runs and leads the league in hits. That one got away from Ramos, and he tried to shove Jerry Davis out of the way.
That just popped out of his glove as he was reaching in to get it.
High fly ball to left, and Hoskins will gather this one in. Sky more favorable for the outfielders now as the sun dips below the horizon. Runner at second, and now 2 out. Check this out. Look at Wilson Ramos. He's still got his Tampa Bay Rays glove.
Well, he broke it in. Not the good time of year to try to break in a new glove. He's got that wrist band around it that's attached to his glove too. We saw Yadi Molina with one of those during the St. Louis series. I guess if your pitcher's throwing hard enough, it's going to knock your glove off. It won't be hard to find.
Kind of like the cable on a surfboard.
Exactly.
I was thinking more like the mittens with the string, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So Nick Markakis is the batter, runner at second, 2 outs. He's got 181 hits this year for the Braves. He has to get a run back here with 2 outs, a walk and a errant pickoff throw from Pivetta. And a slow roller hit toward Bohr. He's going to field and apply the tag, and that retires the side. Acuna's left stranded. We're through an inning. Nick Pivetta and the Phillies have an early lead. For baseball, a tip of the cap to the Boston Red Sox. They clinched their 3rd straight American League Eastern title by beating the Yankees at Yankee Stadium 11-6. Huge night for Mookie Betts, 4 hits, 5 RBIs. And it's the first time the Red Sox ever clinched the division by beating the Yankees in the clinching game. So a well-deserved honor for Alex Cora and his staff. That is a terrific ball club that we saw firsthand here in Atlanta this year.
They pretty much went wire to wire.
Yeah.
They have been good all year long with very few hiccups along the way. Congratulations to them.
So now the Red Sox can concentrate on their first round matchup in the American League playoffs, as they are the champions of the East. A feat Atlanta will try to take care of, perhaps here at home this weekend. Carlos Santana is the third baseman again for the Phillies tonight, and he takes off the plate, ball one. Santana went 0 for 4, but drove in the Phillies' first inning run last night.
I often think about that San Francisco Giants team you guys knocked out, Tommy, in I think 93.
93.
When they, how many games they win? 102.
Yeah, 103 or 102. Yeah.
Braves had 104. I think they won 103
and went home.
Yeah, no wild card.
No wild card.
Hang with them.
Line drive to right. It'll hang up for Markakis, and Santana barreled that ball, but lines out, one away. So, fellas, Julio got through the first inning. Yes, he gave up a run, but nothing else. And if the numbers hold, that's probably a good sign for the Braves right-hander. The first inning's been his most problematic frame this year.
Yeah, you don't want to give up a run. Obviously, you want to have a clean inning, but solo home run, first inning, so what? That's not going to beat you most nights. So hold them there and give your offense a chance to go to work.
Those were the numbers coming into the start of the game tonight. First inning and everything else outstanding.
There's a good pitch to Wilson Ramos. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I don't know that Julio needed any inspiration tonight, but that probably got his attention, fired him up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Ramos didn't get it. A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I know on a personal level there were times that, you know, yeah, you'd rather give up that solo home run and kind of move on versus walking a guy, and you know, now you're worrying about a running game and, you know, a big inning and all that stuff. It's almost like, all right, there's your run, let's move on.
Outside corner, a perfect pitch. So it's 5 in a row retired by Tehran after the Hernandez leadoff homer. And here's a double Herrera.
92. Spotted it.
Herrera had a hit last night. He batted 5th last evening. He's batting 7th tonight in front of the pitcher Nick Pivetta. And that's off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. 22 homers for Herrera. We're so used to seeing him play center field. Phillies have him playing right field with Roman Quinn manning the center field pasture. And Quinn will hit 9th on the lineup card tonight. Another strike evens the count.
3 career homers for Herrera off of Julio. 250 average.
That stays high. 2 balls and a strike. One final in already today. The White Sox beat the Cubs on the south side of Chicago today. 10-4 was that final. That score has significance for the Braves, as Atlanta not only trying to win the East, they're still trying to maybe steal away the best record in the National League. And at the moment, with the Cubs losing, the Braves are only 4 games behind Chicago in that regard. And the Cubs have to play the Cardinals the final weekend, with the Central Division on the line perhaps in that series. Strike 2, full count. Yeah, the Cubs, I think, have the Cardinals to finish, I think, one more series with Milwaukee left.
I believe that's right.
So an opportunity for Atlanta with the Mets and Phillies on their schedule still, as this one's hit a mile high right behind home plate. Flowers near the screen won't have a chance. And Herrera gets another swing on a full count.
Yeah, I'll never go so far as to say that home field advantage is not important, and you don't necessarily not want it. You want to get it. But I'm not so sure that's such a big deal with this Braves team. They're so good on the road,
right?
That, you know, as much as I think you'd like to have that home field and certainly your home atmosphere or whatever, it's not the end of the world for these guys if they don't get that and they have to play some series starting on the road, because they've been phenomenal on the road.
3 balls, 2 strikes, and fouled away.
Chip, I was wrong. It's the Pirates. Cubs have the Pirates for 4, and then the Cardinals for 3.
It's St. Louis that has Milwaukee, and then the Cubs. I beg your pardon. Thanks, Joe. But right now, the Braves and Dodgers tied at 85 and 68. If the Braves and Dodgers finish with the same record, LA, by virtue of the better head-to-head record, I believe, would be the 2nd divisional seed. Top fly foul. Herrera putting up a fight here with the Phillies up 1-0. Brewers and Cardinals, the top 2 wild card clubs. Colorado a game and a half back. Arizona 5 out. The Phillies 5.5 out of the 2nd wild card. And Julio ponders his 30th pitch of the night. And he pulled a string, and Herrera's retired. Big swing and a miss. Julio's retired 6 straight. And we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. It's the Phillies 1, Atlanta 0. Fox as the Phillies take on our division leading Braves. The action starts tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on Fox, Fox Deportes, and the Fox Sports app. One of the gentlemen who will be calling the game tomorrow afternoon is with us, the great Ken Rosenthal, one of the great scribes in baseball history. Great to have you in our booth here in Atlanta. These are exciting and heady times for the Braves. It's been a while since we've been talking about fun games like this.
Absolutely, and it's great to be here back in September, like in the days of Glavine and Smoltz, and to see what this team has accomplished. It's really impressive. I don't know that any of us expected this.
We certainly didn't. And guys like Acuna and Albies and the young pitchers that the Braves have put together have really sparked this incredible rise to the top of the division.
No question. And I know a lot of people around here and around baseball are wondering, okay, if these guys win the division, which it looks like they will, what can they do in the playoffs? Obviously, if they're up against the Dodgers, you wonder because of the recent bullpen struggles in particular. But this is such a vibrant team and such a young team, it's a little bit unpredictable. And if they get hot, who knows what might happen.
Johan Camargo leads off second for the Braves. And he takes high, 1 ball, no strikes.
Ken, with the surprise of the Phillies and the Braves this year, has the National League East in some ways been overlooked a little bit by most national media?
I would say that's a reasonable statement. And everyone thought at the start of the year, including most people with the Braves and the Phillies, that the Nationals would be the team to beat. And of course, that hasn't happened. And that is why a lot of people in the media would say at the start of the year, well, these are rebuilding clubs. They're not ready yet. They're probably a year away. Upstarts, however you want to phrase it.
There's a base hit up the middle for Camargo to lead off the second inning.
And yet the Nationals' poor performance really all season opened a door. Now, it's one thing when that happens, but who is going to go through the door? The Braves have, the Phillies have not, and that is why we are where we are today.
Ken, we get to work and see the work of Brian Snitker on a daily basis. He's an organizational man. He's been with the organization over 4 decades. We know the kind of work he has put in. We know what kind of a man and manager he is. What's the buzz around baseball as far as his manager of the year candidacy in your estimation?
You know what? I haven't thought about the National League manager of the year that much because the American League race is so fascinating with Alex Cora and Kevin Cash in Tampa Bay and Bob Melvin in Oakland. But in the National League, generally speaking, you guys know this, managers of the year come from surprise teams. The Braves are a surprise team. I don't know that Dave Roberts is going to win this award. I don't know that Joe Madden would win it. Craig Counsell certainly would have a shot.
Sure.
And that would be the other main contender, I would think. Bud Black, perhaps, if they somehow get in. And who knows, Mike Schultz might get some votes, but he's only been the manager since the All-Star break. So I would say that Brian Snitker is in that mix for sure. They win the division, he'd be a reasonable choice, no doubt.
1 ball, 1 strike for Tyler Flowers, who hits this one a mile high toward left center field. Quinn, though, is going to catch it shy of the track. And back to first is Camargo with 1 out. Braves hit a couple of balls deep last night that went unrewarded. That one was smoked by Flowers, and Camargo's at first. And Ozzie Albies is coming up.
Ken, there's been a lot of talk this September about the expanded rosters and the use of so many different players on your roster on any given night in September. Do you foresee any changes in the rules on that?
Joe, we've been talking about this, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Probably going back 30 years. I know my entire career it's basically been an issue, especially the last 20 years. And it gets discussed every year, and yet nothing is done. It should have been addressed in the last collective bargaining agreement. It needs to be addressed because the game is being played under different rules in September when the games are the most meaningful of them all than they are the rest of the season. And it would seem to be an easy fix. It seemed that they had it figured out in the last CBA. They were going to go 26-man rosters for the first 5 months, then 28 perhaps, whatever it might have been, for the final month. And that would have provided the balance you needed. But it fell apart at the negotiating table for whatever reason, and here we are again. And teams, of course, are going to exploit this, as the Phillies in particular have, the most that they can. And that's fine. That's within the rules. That's how it rolls. You have to make rules to prevent this kind of thing from happening.
But isn't the expanded rosters and the ability to bring up another 10 or 15 guys a symptom of an overall healthy and deep system? Shouldn't that be rewarded as well? So what's the fair balance?
I have no problem with that. I don't know that anyone does. And September call-ups are always something that are exciting to see. But there are ways where it gets to the point where it's excessive. And let's say we had a 28-man roster or even a 32-man roster in September with 25 active each night. Well, at least the game then is the same.
Right. Like healthy scratches in hockey.
Exactly. And that would be appropriate. And there are a lot of things that baseball is considering changing. That would be really high on my list because it would seem to be an easy fix, and it's one where I don't know that there would be much debate about. Some of the other things we talk about with shifts and pitching changes, okay, there are perhaps unintended consequences. There are all kinds of things in play. This one, it's pretty easy.
Pop fly foul out of play for Ozzie. It's still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, we've had plenty of teams over the years that have 37, 36, 38 guys up here. But the fact that the Phillies have all 40 guys on their roster here and nobody's on the DL is unbelievable.
It is amazing. And you look at their bench, it's pretty crowded. You look at their clubhouse, it's very crowded. But they are a team, an organization that preaches maxing out on what they can do. And they are maxing out on what they can do according to the rules.
Yeah, they're not breaking any rules by any means.
Yeah, they have 40 players on their roster. They have 13 coaches. They have 4 minor league coaches, and they brought up a minor league strength coach for the rest of this series. They are shoehorning people into that visitors' locker room.
They're well stocked.
Yes, they are.
That way.
Yes, they are. As Dansby Swanson stands in with a runner at first and 2 outs.
Can't let you go without your comments on, you mentioned this young team, but your take on Ronald Acuna Jr.
Joe, how can you not love him? You guys watch him every night, and it's breathtaking. And the adjustment he made around the All-Star break with Kevin Seitzer and his willingness to do it, and then his ability to do it, and then to carry it forward, it just speaks to the talent. And clearly we are looking at one of the great stars in the game I would expect for the next 10 to 15 years. There's no reason not to think that. And obviously at the top of the order, he has ignited this team. And it's just so refreshing to see him and Soto and all these guys coming into the game and doing what they're doing at such young ages. That is a great race. The Rookie of the Year race is a great one. I think Acuna has the edge now. He's playing for a better team. But Soto has had a historic year in his own right. So it's that close.
We've talked about that a lot, not just in this league, but the other as well.
Sure.
The Red Sox loaded with young talent, and how, I would say, advanced these young guys are at such an early age compared to a decade ago, 2 decades ago. It just didn't happen that quickly.
Absolutely. And this year we're going to have 2 26-year-old free agents, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, who are entering their peak years. Mike Trout is, I believe, 27. So even our established veteran stars, some of them are quite young.
So yeah, we may be entering a new golden era of baseball with these young stars blossoming all around the major leagues, including here in Atlanta. Most important question I have for you, Ken, as this one's back to the mound, what's the bow tie tomorrow?
Childhood cancer tomorrow.
Nice.
Nice. I love it.
It's a good one.
That is a cause near and dear to Tom and his lovely wife Chris's heart. So we congratulate you on that. Good luck tomorrow. We'll be watching. Exciting times in Atlanta. We're glad you're part of the ride.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports. He'll be working tomorrow afternoon's game on the network. And we're headed for the 3rd inning, down a run.
And by Synovus, the bank of here.
Cesar Hernandez led off the game with a homer on a 3-2 pitch. That's the only offense so far tonight. Braves have had the leadoff man on in their first 2 innings, but could not bring home Acuna or Camargo. And so to the 3rd inning we go with Nick Pivetta, Roman Quinn, and Hernandez coming back up. Last 7 starts. That's Julio's line, our SunTrust confidence play.
Again, we go back to the opponent's average against, his ERA and everything. If you just throw out the first inning for Julio this year, there's no telling what his record would be, and his ERA would be even lower.
So he's got a break, starting with the pitcher leading off the 3rd inning, Nick Pivetta, who's 4 for 37 as a hitter, and that's in for a strike.
He's throwing harder tonight.
Yes, he is. Fastball popped at 92 earlier in the game. As that one just missed low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to 6'5", 210-pound native of British Columbia, Nick Pivetta. On the ground to second, and Ozzie will make the peg to first. 1 out. 7 up, 7 down for Julio. That is his first ground out of the game. And here's Roman Quinn. The start, by the way, for Julio is a milestone for him. It's his 30th start of the season. That is 6 consecutive years that Julio Teheran has made 30 or more starts. He is one of 4 active pitchers who can say that. Mike Leake, John Lester, and Max Scherzer, the other 3.
Durable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside to Quinn, ball 2. Another area where Julio has drastically improved, guys, is his work here at SunTrust Park. I've often said that, and Tom, you can address this, when a team moves into a new stadium, it's really a home field disadvantage for a while until you figure out how the park plays and where you can pitch to get outs. As a 4-pitch walk puts Quinn aboard. Last year, I think it's safe to say SunTrust Park kind of spooked Julio. He was 3-10 here. This year, he's 4-3, and he shaved 2 full earned runs off his home ERA.
Yeah, he was, let's just say, not necessarily looking forward to an upcoming start if it was at SunTrust Park last year. I mean, it just didn't go well. But yeah, he's certainly made some adjustments and feels much more comfortable at home, and he's pitched a whole lot better.
Quinn back safely. That was close. Quinn's 5'10", 170 pounds, 25 years old. 2nd round pick by the Phillies out of Port St. Joe High School. That pitch split the plate. Cesar took it. No balls and a strike. They've got him picked off. Nope, they're going to call a balk. They're going to say Julio balked.
No argument from him. Had a little knee pop. Actually, you have to bend one of your knees to get turned around. But if you bend that back one's the one they're looking at, that looks like you're about to go into your leg kick. You bend that one and go to first, they're going to nail you. Julio knew that.
So now Quinn at second after the balk with one out. No balls and a strike for Hernandez. And time called at the plate. No balls, one strike.
Third career balk on Julio this year.
Good pitch there. Even better result. 1-2.
Really good pitch. I liked what he did there, though, that kind of made that even more effective, was that he held the ball a long time in his stretch and kind of froze Hernandez, so that then when he took his big big leg kick and fired it, it was an off-speed pitch, breaking ball, had him way out in front.
Yeah, obviously a lot of times as a pitcher you're trying to vary your times and whatnot to try and make it harder for that runner to get a jump on you, but it has an effect on the hitter too, because if you sit there and hold the ball, a lot of times you're waiting for the hitter to step out and call timeout, and when they don't, that's to your advantage. They're just standing there getting frozen a little bit.
As Hernandez just did. Get a little tense.
A walk and a balk has Quinn at second. Hernandez behind in the count. And the pitch is low. The throw to third is late. Quinn was itching to go, and he got to third, and he stands there with one out. Braves will take a look just to be sure. Margot tagged him on the left elbow, but clearly Quinn beat the play. He came off the bag.
Yeah, like everybody does now.
But was the tag on the shoulder? I think it might have been. Might need to see that again. Quinn came off the bag on that head first slide. Is there enough there for the Braves to take a look? And I think there is. So he is clearly off the bag right there. His left thigh is not touching, I don't believe.
Everything's clear of the base. That is a great picture, fellas.
Let's see if that's enough for New York to overturn the safe call.
You know, until I saw that freeze frame, I would have said, don't bother.
On the original replay, he clearly got his hand in, but his momentum carried Quinn across the bag, and as he barreled into Camargo, it appeared he came off the bag, and Johan still had the glove, almost by accident, touching his body right there. The only question is that upper part of his thigh touching the base while the glove's on his arm?
Tell you what, the infielders have gotten so smart about that and keeping that tag on until they have to take it off. And I don't think Hunter Wendelstedt could see that from the left field side of third base.
So So Hunter's on the right. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is the man on the left, and he is out. Winover slides the bag. There's a big break. Good challenge by Brian Snitker. Great catch by our Fox Sports crew. And that's the second out of the inning.
Good work by the Braves review crew too. Rob Smith, Braden Schlehuber, good call.
So that empties the bases, and Hernandez now with a 2-2 count. And Julio back to the windup. Just missed inside, and Cesar has another 3-2 pitch coming. Pitch number 44 is coming, and it's popped up right to the shortstop, Dansby Swanson, and the Braves with an excellent review at third base get themselves out of a third inning mess. Julio leads off. It's 1-0 Philadelphia, middle of the third inning. Screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. 1-0. Phillies are in front. Julio Teheran leads off the third for the Braves. Acuna and Inciarte will follow. Nick Pivetta about to start his second trip through the Braves order. He's thrown 35 pitches so far. 23 strikes. Braves have had the leadoff man on twice in as many innings, but they've left Acuna at second and Camargo at first in the first two times up. That's in play toward Bohr. Backhand stab, and Pivetta to the bag. Julio's retired, one out. And back to the top we go, and Ronald Acuna, who walked, took second on a pitcher's error.
You know, back years ago in spring training, we used to break out what was essentially a slip and slide, and we would practice sliding and things of that nature to get ready for the year. I wonder if they're going to start breaking out something to work on head first slides so we can stay on the base.
You know what they're going to give the players?
every major league base runner, you know, when they put that oven mitt on, they're going to have a parachute on their back. So like when they're a drag racer getting to the finish line, they just hit the draw chute and they slow down at the base.
That would drive me crazy as a manager to have that stuff constantly happening.
Agreed. One of the issues about that is you're trying to avoid a tag, so you're kind of going to the outside corner of the bag anyway. So that doesn't give you a whole lot of room to hit something to stop and slow you down.
There's a rifle shot by Acuna. 1 out single, the second Braves hit.
Little 107 exit velocity on that line drive.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard. It was thrown hard and it was hit hard.
And Ender, the batter, he struck out on a curveball his first time up. It seems to me, guys, we're seeing these overslides happen more frequently on head first slides than going in feet first. Why isn't it addressed as simply as slide with your spikes first, and then you don't have to worry about the second baseman blocking you off the bag?
Because I think it's like so many things in this game now that guys grow up head first sliding. I guarantee you half of these guys probably don't even know how to slide feet first.
They may not.
Another step on that lead for Acuna. It's a good lead. And he's back standing. When you have an overslide as bad as Quinn's was, I don't mind that replay coming into play as it did. First, the offering to Ender. It's when you have a stolen base attempt and the man makes a great athletic play to get to the bag and he comes off the bag for the blink of an eye and the tag is applied. I don't know if that was the intent of the rule or not, but it takes away so much of the athleticism and the excitement of a stolen base play. And I know it's the letter of the law. I get it. I'm not complaining, but that's so much of what makes baseball great, that ballet in the middle of the infield that seemingly is taken away by guys popping off the bag trying to steal.
I only dislike it enormously when it's the Braves who pop off the bag.
2 balls, no strikes.
Well, he is firing up some fastballs for Ender tonight.
That one at 95. 2 balls and a strike.
I know he struck him out on a curveball in the first inning, but that was set up by some good four-seamers.
And this guy has been very tough for the Braves to handle. He's 4-1 against Atlanta. 1 win and 1 loss against the Braves this year. Fouled away. Pivetta might not know what to do with himself tonight. This is a rather unique occurrence for him against the Braves this season. All of his previous starts against the Braves have been a Pivetta-Fultonevich matchup. Tonight he's got Julio Teheran in opposition.
Isn't that weird how that happens?
What are the odds of that taking place as the runner goes and the pitch is skied toward right center? And Herrera says he's got it, and he does. Ender just missed. He flies out. 2 are away for Freddie Freeman. And Freddie Freeman is the Braves batter. He's on a terrific run. That's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
That includes a 5-game hitting streak coming into play tonight, where he's gone 11 for 22 in that 5-game streak. 2 homers among those extra base hits in that streak.
And 4 multi-hit games. And that one pops away from Ramos. Acuna's around second. He's looking, but he'll slam on the brakes as Ramos came up with it beyond the Braves on deck circle.
He's limping a little bit. He already has a bad leg. Has not been catching as much as they would like to have him in there because of that leg injury, previous injury that he had when they acquired him. Maybe sore because that ball hit him in the knee.
He was thinking get to third for Ronald, but he stopped at second with 2 outs. He's already in scoring position for Freddie. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, I got a good reason why Freddie wanted him to go to third, so they wouldn't pitch around him.
Yeah. .95 miles an hour, and now a 2-1 count.
Yeah, that's pretty much the epitome of the term easy gas right there. Ball's coming out of his hands really nice.
Shift on for Freddie. This one struck down the left field line and out of play. We'll do it again. Told you Pivetta was originally with the Nationals. Washington took him in the 4th round of the draft back in 2013. He got as high as Double-A before the Phillies got him at the trading deadline in 2015. And he fought that one off. Good battle here with Freddie. Still 2-2.
I haven't seen him pitch a ton, but I like his stuff. Certainly, his pretty easy delivery. But, young kid just kind of scratching the surface of the big leagues and still figuring out what he is. But, man, you got a nice, easy 95 and a good hook. It's a pretty good foundation there to work with.
Second highest strikeout per 9 in Phillies history behind Kurt Schilling. That's owned by Pivetta, whose breaking ball is hammered to left, and that's going to tie the game. Freddie Freeman spoils the shift, and on a 2-2 count singles home Acuna, and new life for Atlanta. It's a 1-1 score.
Tom, I don't care how good your curveball is, and he's got a good one. But when you're pitching to Freddie Freeman, aren't you doing him a favor to throw this pitch with that shift on?
Well, I think you're doing any opposite hitting hitter a favor in general. Right-hander to a lefty, lefty to a righty. You got 2 strikes. You're throwing a breaking ball coming into the strike zone. Yes, you're doing him a favor. And in particular, a guy like Freddie, who can handle the bat the way he does. And oh, by the way, you have a gaping hole for him on the left side of the field. Thank you very much.
Christmas came early for the Braves first baseman. 93rd RBI. He's got a 6-game hit streak. And now Markakis the batter, and that one too high. 1 ball, no strikes.
And again, there might be 50 times where he hits that ground ball to the right side and you have the shift on, but I guarantee you the ones everybody remembers is that one right there, because that's a routine ground ball to short and the inning is over.
Well, and last night he hit that shot right at Santana, who was positioned with the shift at shortstop, and he got eaten up.
A rare changeup from Pivetta. It missed. Ball 2.
4th straight 2-0 count.
Better luck for the Braves the second time through the order. A run on 2 hits. And that's going to sneak through the right side for a base hit. Freddie around second. Ball dropped by Herrera. Everybody's going to be safe at first and third. Another hit from Markakis. The Braves have 3 singles in the inning.
Nick went in around that one. He didn't hit it hard, but with Hernandez playing up the middle and Herrera overrunning it, Freddie was headed to third base. I don't know if they'll charge an error or not.
They shouldn't. He was going.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing what kind of throw he was going to put on him.
So Rick Kranitz, the Phillies pitching coach, is out to talk to Pivetta now. Braves doing what they do so well, scoring 2-out runs. Their 277th 2-out run has come across here in the 3rd inning. Great crowd tonight on a Friday night. Fireworks to follow this game. And then the final 2 games of the regular season here in Atlanta tomorrow afternoon and Sunday at 1:35.
Chop fever, man.
Yeah, it's good crowd. Was looking a little sparse here before the game, but it's filled in real nice now. I mean, where else would you want to be on a Friday night in the home teams in a pennant race?
With a magic number of 4.
Right. I mean, I could understand some people staying home to listen to us. I mean, I get that, but
and there's a lot of those.
Yeah, but you still probably rather be here.
First and third for Camargo with 2 outs. And a backhanded stop on a ball that bounced off the plate or right in front of it. Wow. 1-0.
This is a good matchup for me. I want to see this one. Johan's such a good fastball hitter. Pivetta gets one of those 95-mile-an-hours up over the plate. Johan could hit it a long way.
He smoked one up the middle to lead off the second. And took change up for a strike. One ball.
Change up for a strike, but trust me, that is not where he wants to throw it.
No, and he doesn't throw many of those.
Throwing a few more this inning. That one good enough to even the count. Fly ball towards center, and Quinn's got a beat on that, and that will retire the side. Ronald Acuna with a base hit. Freddie Freeman brought him home with a single that beats the shift. How many times have we seen that this year? 1-1 now. Atlanta and the Phillies. We head to the 4th.
One locked Julio Tron before the game. He said what is most important for him is command of the fastball. He's walked a season high 80, including his walk tonight. That's a career high for him. So he does want to command. Now control, the ability to throw strikes, command, the ability to hit spots inside that strike zone. Tonight he gets a grade of a B, maybe a C. But what is he doing so well? He's got great velocity, and always, guys, he can flat out compete. If that fastball locks in with location, he'll be in for a great night.
Couldn't agree more, Paulie. We were just talking between innings about especially pitching inside, using that fastball in.
Well, the Braves just gave him a run to get it tied. A shutdown frame would be nice for Tehran. He allowed the leadoff homer. The Phillies don't have a hit since. They only have one base runner after the first batter circled the bags. Rhys Hoskins flied out. And he's behind 0-2.
Well, the Braves did a great job last night. The starter, Kevin Gossman, but also the bullpen. They only had one base runner after the third inning. And that was Hernandez, and he got thrown out trying to steal because he slid off the bag.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think on the back end last night, I think Sabaka opened some eyes last night. Boy, oh boy.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Slider gets Hoskins. Julio's got 3 strikeouts. And Joe, how many times have we seen this? Julio can survive the first. He settles in and looks like a totally different, more confident and more effective guy.
And changed his arm angle a little bit on that one. Took a little bit off of it.
Look, I can relate. I mean, you know, obviously with my first inning issues. But Julio's a little bit different pitcher now than he was early in his career. He's not that guy that's going to go out there and throw 95, 96 miles an hour. He's that guy now that has to go out there and kind of figure out what's working on a given night. And once he does, he settles in, or he's able to figure out what's not quite right and make an adjustment for that second inning.
Lifted into shallow right. Ozzie drifts out and is called off by Markakis. Cabrera's retired, 2 away.
He's just, you know, like we say, that first inning hole he's dug himself so often, unfortunately, has been the difference in so many of the outcomes of the game for him. And I know, like I said, even for me with the first inning problems that I had so often, it didn't seem like that inevitably was my demise for the rest of the game. You know, a lot of times the offense would pick me up, or you'd stay in it and you know, end up having a good game, and your offense, like I say, comes around. But unfortunately for Julio, it seems like when he's dug those holes too often, the team hasn't been able to get out of them.
I don't think he's been able to get out of them, Tommy.
True.
I think mentally it wears on him knowing the first inning issues, and it's typically not just one run. It might be 3 or 4 where he is beating himself up by the time the inning's over.
Well, he looks like a different guy now. He's on a very nice roll. 3 strikeouts. He's got Bohr up there who flied out to left. And that's off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, and I think, and this is where we were talking. I mean, for me, the one big difference I see in him these last couple of years is he doesn't pitch inside the lefties nearly the way he did when he first came up. And if you want to try and get them out of the way, which he clearly does, you've got to get them in there a little bit. You've got to get in there a little bit more often, and just not only keep them, just to keep them honest, but it gives you more margin for error on that outside part of the plate.
Sure.
Now, you don't have to be so precise every time because they're getting so many looks at it. And it's almost like he's replaced pitching inside and getting guys off the plate by using that high fastball, and I don't think it accomplishes the same thing.
Well, he got a high strike call to even the count to Bohr. Let's see what he and Flowers come up with here with the bases empty in a 1-1 game. And a fly ball towards center. Ender got a great jump, and he takes care of Bohr. 3 up, 3 down. Tyler Flowers leads off for Atlanta. We're tied up Tickets are now on sale. To get the best seats for the biggest moments this October, head to Braves.com/postseason and reserve your seats today. With Paul Bird, Tom Glavine, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey, and the rest of our great Fox Sports crew in Atlanta tonight. The final evening of summer 2018, and another good ball game. 1-1 is your score between the Braves and Phillies. Tehran and Pivetta hooking up. Atlanta just tied it on a Freddie Freeman base hit in the third. Tyler Flowers leads off the fourth. And Tyler is tonight's Bringing the Lumber feature, brought to you by Yellowwood.
He's been on a good roll. Homestand especially, 4 for 14 with a couple of homers. But it goes back even further to 10 games, including those 2 home runs. Hit the ball hard his first time up tonight.
That'll bounce foul. It's 0-2. Big game in Pittsburgh tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee's trying to catch the Cubs, who already lost tonight. Milwaukee's 2.5 behind Chicago, but the Pirates are beating them again.
Wow.
It's 3-1 Pittsburgh in the middle innings at PNC Park.
Heard Craig Counsell, the manager of the Brewers, talking today about their difficulties with Pittsburgh, and he gives all the credit to their pitching staff. Says it's one of the more underrated staffs in the National League, and really shuts them down.
Milwaukee is 5-11 against Pittsburgh this year. And when the Brewers were flying high in the first half of the season, shortly after the Braves saw them, they had to go to Pittsburgh right before the All-Star break, and the Pirates absolutely wiped them out. Swept a 5-game series, which set the tone for that head-to-head matchup this season.
Yeah, it's similar to, you know, if they don't win their division, they can certainly point to how they played against Pittsburgh, much like we talked last night with the Phillies and their inability to do anything with the Marlins and the Mets like the Braves have been able to.
I know this is going to come as a shock to you guys, but they're in a delay in Pittsburgh.
No. One more rain delay on the final day of summer in Pittsburgh. Downstairs for Ozzie. A walk would be nice.
We've been talking about Ozzie and hoping he can find whatever he needs to kind of snap out of this. One for his last 21. And I went back his last 17 at bats. There you go. Show some bunt. That's it. Even 3-0. He now has 9 fly ball outs and 4 strikeouts in his last 17 at bats.
Fouled away, full count.
And that's one of the areas they're trying to improve on, is fewer pop-ups. Try to get on top of the ball a little bit, not uppercut it quite so much. Hit the ball hard through the infield and use his speed.
So from 3-0 to 3-2, and Ozzie lashes that to right, and Herrera makes the catch, and that's the second out.
A well hit ball.
Yeah.
And here's Dansby. Sorry, Tom.
I'm sorry, Chip. And on that note with Ozzie too, though, sounds like an easy thing, right? Don't pop the ball up so much, but not so easy when you've established that you're willing to chase that high fastball. Everybody's pitching you up there all the time, and you have to be patient enough to lay off it and get them to bring the ball down a little bit to where you can handle it and do something with it.
And when you've had some success on a high strike, not necessarily that one shoulder high, but just above the letters, he's pretty good at hammering that pitch.
And it's really a tough dilemma because Ozzie has great numbers swinging at the first pitch, no matter what that pitch is. As Dansby lost the bat, that ricochets off the screen. At one point, Ozzie, I believe, had a 390 plus batting average on the first pitch of it at bat.
Yeah, did we talk about, was it us talking about that today, or was it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of that dilemma, right? It's like, hey, you know, maybe he shouldn't swing at the first pitch so much, but it's like, well, he's hitting 390 on the first pitch. You know, it's like, oh, okay.
Well, let's try something else.
But for me, it's pitch selection early in the count. You don't want to see him chasing that high fastball and digging himself a hole already. But secondly, and more importantly, and again, I look at it from a pitcher standpoint and how you're going to attack a guy, it's the predictability. Just be a little bit more unpredictable.
You've talked about that with regards to Acuna too, and as a pitcher, a guy that's that aggressive at the plate, you are on red alert as a pitcher. Very first pitch.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing better than a guy getting in the batter's box that you know you don't really have to throw him a strike. I mean, that's a dream matchup for a guy that can locate.
And this guy is just sitting on 95 tonight.
Yeah.
So he's already gone deeper tonight than Velasquez went last night. Velasquez pitched 3 innings. Pavetta's trying to get through the 4th inning with a tie game.
Well, I'll tell you what, we heard coming in that he was going to have a little bit longer leash than last night. It'll be interesting to see how they play it as well as he's throwing the ball.
Full count for Dansby. Pitcher due next. And fouled away. The game plan for Gabe Kapler last night was if they were tied or had the lead, he had Hector Neris and he had Sir Anthony Dominguez ready to go in the late innings. He obviously didn't use those 2 men, and the bullpen blew up on him in the 7th and the 8th. Might be a differently managed bullpen tonight with the game still tied heading toward the middle innings. And a swing and a miss. That is the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Pivetta, his 4th of the game, and a perfect 1-2-3 frame. For complete tied 1 apiece, game 2, Braves and Phillies here before a big crowd on Friday night in Atlanta. It's time for the Toyota Tweet of the Week. Our question this week is, if the Braves make the playoffs, which pitchers are you starting games 1, 2, and 3? Tweet us at Fox Sports Braves using the hashtag ATL123, and your tweet could be read on the Braves Live post-game show. There are a lot of options. There are a lot of possibilities. And there are, quite frankly, a lot of potential opponents for the Braves should they get to the playoffs. And I'm sure that's going to all factor in for Brian Snitker and his staff here in the final week and a half of the regular season.
What you'd like to have is for everybody to finish on such a good note in the rotation that you make all those decisions very difficult.
1 run on 1 hit is the very definition of a good performance for Julio so far tonight, as he starts the 5th inning with a strike to Santana, who lined out to right in his lone at bat.
I think game 1's probably settled.
Probably so.
Yeah. For me, game 2 and game 3 depend on if you start on the road or at home. I'm saying if you start on the road, then game 2 for me on the road is Anibal. Game 3 at home is Gausman. If you start at home, then you flip-flop those 2 guys.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
For the reasons of the experience of Sanchez?
Yes.
Santana, 88 strikeouts, a whopping 105 walks this year. This one's bounced to first. Freddie Freeman's got it, and there's out number 1.
I don't know if the 2 are tied together or not. And normally speaking, Freddie never lets anything offensively affect his defense. It's all good. But if you recall, when he was going through that rough patch offensively, he was making some funny throws around first. He just wasn't himself around there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all that's tied together now, and it's great baseball.
Yeah, ideally, as you said, you'd like to have 3 or 4 guys hot coming down the stretch. How about 3 or 4 or 5 guys in the middle of your lineup hot coming down the stretch?
Ideal.
And the types of pitchers the Braves are going to be facing are, I think, ideal tune-ups for postseason play. Guys like Nola and Arrieta. Pavetta's pitching like a number 1 tonight. You know about DeGrom and Syndergaard for the Mets. They're lurking. As this one's hit toward third, and that is a fair ball. Nice play by Camargo. Slow runner, 2 out.
Yeah, so they should see DeGrom. He's pitching tonight, so see him Wednesday probably, unless they have an off day. Or
well, the Braves are off Monday. I'm assuming the Mets are too.
They see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, so they probably wouldn't. They wouldn't try to squeeze him in there and squeeze an extra start out of him for any reason. So you're going to see him Wednesday or Thursday, I would imagine. Well, Wednesday, I would imagine.
And then Corey Oswalt would get the ball in the Thursday game in New York. Remember, Oswalt's taken the place of Zach Wheeler in rotation. The Mets shut him down after a great second half and a fantastic rebound season here in 2018.
Yeah, I think that's the silver lining in that, is that it's, you know, they're shutting him down because he's had a good year. He's pitched a bunch and they're being cautious. Not that something else is going on, so good for him.
Yeah, over 100 innings more this year than last year for Wheeler, who went 9-1 for the Mets after the All-Star break.
9-1. That's...
See, I didn't realize that. I knew he was pitching well, but.
And so for New York, which had a terrible June, which took them out of any contention for a winning season this year, DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Wheeler is a very nice trio to start with going into the offseason.
Yeah, I still love Matz too.
Yeah,
if he could just stay healthy, which I guess you say about all of them.
Sure.
He had a good turnaround the last couple of months.
And then you factor in Michael Conforto's behind the shoulder problems. He's having a monster month. Rosario's come along at shortstop.
Saw Crawford over there on deck, so if he gets up, Pavetta's out of the game.
Thank you very much if that's the case.
Yeah.
No balls, 2 strikes for Adubel Herrera.
His helmet has flown off once, almost twice on some breaking pitches he chased. Might be a good time for that little butterfly curveball. See if he chases that. Just a straight change there.
Good changeup. See, now this is where you got him set up for something in. You know, even if you're not wanting to throw a strike in there and you think you can get him with that changeup again, Throw a fastball in right here, get him off the plate, or at least, you know, make him think about it so that he doesn't get such a good look at that changeup if you want to go back to it.
It's like they're going away and up. And it missed too high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Julio's got a good lather working on this 85-degree night.
There's the breaking ball, and Julio's retired 14 of his last 15 batters. A leadoff homer and a walk, the only base runners for the Phillies through 5 terrific innings. Julio leads off the 5th, still tied 1 apiece. And as he strides to the plate, let's take a look at our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature. The reason the Braves are where they are is their dominant work against their divisional foes.
Look at that run differential.
Yeah, that's crazy.
13 runs. My goodness.
Line by Julio and pulled foul.
And I said it before, and with all due respect to, and I think we all agree, with our friend Mr. Rosenthal, I think it's Snitker and everybody else in the Manager of the Year discussion.
Agreed. Bobby was the last Braves Manager of the Year. 2005.
That was the baby Braves year. One ball, 2 strikes for Tehran. Acuna and Inciarte to follow here in inning number 5. As we said last night, the reason the Braves are in first place and the Phillies aren't, as far as divisional play is concerned, is the Braves have taken care of the teams that, frankly, they should take care of, the Mets and the Marlins. Braves are 26-9 against those 2 teams. As this one's lifted toward Quinn in center. Good at bat by Julio. Hit the ball hard a couple of times. That time to the center fielder for the first out. Phillies are 19-19 against the Mets and Miami. So there in a nutshell is your difference as to who's first and who's second.
You better take care of business in your own division because you have to play them so many times. And if you find someone that you can pick on a little bit, got to take advantage.
Well, how often do you hear, you know, early on anyway, with skeptics that, oh, well, they're only playing that team or they're playing that team. Well, we'll find out. Well, it turns out that those teams early in the year that they were beaten up on is the difference in the division.
Right.
Vetta tries to push Acuna off the plate. He didn't move a muscle. As that one missed, ball one. A walk, a single, and a run for Ronald tonight. And now ball two. Mets lead the Nationals. That's 4-1 in the 7th inning. Jacob deGrom is trying to solidify his Cy Young credentials tonight. And he's swinging bunt. Pivetta with a bare hand has to hurry his throw, and in harm's way goes Bohr to scoop that up. Nice play at first base for the second out.
Yeah, good play on both ends.
Sure was. It was almost like he stuck his glove down in there between the feet of Acuna.
That is a first baseman's nightmare play. Cliff Floyd had his wrist shattered on a similar play years ago. And luckily for Bohr, no problem there. 2 outs for Ender. Some of Pavetta's best pitches have come to Braves center fielder, who is our Indeed player resume feature.
It's a good resume. Last 2 seasons against the Phillies. Excellent numbers and an excellent second half here.
Hoskins, long run, can't hang on. That ball squirted out of his glove on the warning track. So no play, but it is strike 2.
Yeah, he went a long way to get to that and got glove on it. Sit on the outside.
Pretty good play for a first baseman playing left field.
Pitch number 85 for Pivetta is due here. Best fastball of the night, that one at 97.
Well, it's probably his last inning. To their credit, they actually are getting an extra inning out of him since his spot didn't come up.
Gosh, I'd still be hard pressed to take him out.
I know.
My goodness.
And he's leading off the inning, so it's not like he's going to come up with anybody on base.
Well, you've got 16 relievers. If you don't pitch them, they're going to get awfully rusty.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
that would
I'm riding this guy right now.
Yeah, right.
That'd be a heck of a mutiny.
Little tapper left side. Bare hand play, Santana, and he made it. Good play. Former catcher still has a strong arm, and Pivetta is out of the 5th inning. 3 up, 3 down. His spot's due first in the 6th in Atlanta.
Permanente.
Welcome to SunTrust Park, 1-1, top of the 6th. Now, Brian Snitker Day, when addressing the media, everybody wants to talk about these young players who have never had this meaningful of a September with playoffs on the line. Brian Snitker started with the Braves in 1977 as a player, and as a manager at the big league level, he's never had this kind of a meaningful September. So they asked Snit, what are you learning up here at this time? He said, oh my gosh, I'm having a blast, but the pressure is amazing. They said, Snit, are you sleeping? He goes, oh yeah, I'm sleeping like a baby. I go to bed and I wake up every 2 hours and start crying.
But at least he knows he's in first place, Paul.
And loving every minute of it. As J.P. Crawford will bat for Pivetta. The Phillies take him down after 5 innings of 4-hit, 1-run ball.
Thank you.
Yep. Crawford has been bothered with a sore shoulder. That's another reason why he hasn't been in the lineup for the Phillies. Two balls, no strikes. There's an inside pitch.
You know, the difficult part I see for this is if I were a pitcher of, well, a guy pitching like Pivetta's pitching tonight, and I don't even think he's to 90 pitches or close to it. He's still got an inning or two left in him.
Lifted toward right. Will the park hold it? Markakis to the wall. Leaps up. It's high off the bricks. And Crawford around second on his way to third. Ozzy's throw is going to be off target. And J.P. Crawford with a pinch hit triple to right gets the Phillies' 6th inning started.
That triple might make my point moot, but to know you're pitching well, but to know you're still not going to go another inning, even though you're dealing.
Yeah, look, I mean, don't even get me started on that. I mean, you know.
87 pitches for Pivetta. And Julio, frankly, lucky that ball stayed in the park. It's a triple for Crawford, and now Quinn's the batter who walked his first time up. He's a fast man. The Braves think he might try to bunt. They bring the infield well in at the corners and at the edge of the grass at short and second. Swinging away and fouled away. Strike one.
It would be disappointing. I think that's what I was trying to say. It'd be disappointing knowing you're pitching perhaps one of your best games of the year, and that doesn't matter. You're going to come out after 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, again, I'm the way he's throwing the ball right now. I'm hard pressed to believe there's a better option in that bullpen at the moment.
There's not.
There's not. Now, at another juncture in this game, there might be, right?
Sure,
and even to the point where, you know, again, the triple aside, pinch hitting. If you want to send him out there with an extremely short leash in his next, that's a good pitch, in his next inning, then fine, send him out there. A guy gets on, then get him out.
Yeah.
But to me, you don't have managers riding a hot hand often enough. It's just, all right, well, that's what we're supposed to do. Let's do it.
I'm going to pose a question, and I'm going to pose it respectfully. And this is meant in no way as a derogatory statement to any major league pitcher. Is it a safe bet to say that most guys who are in the bullpen are there for a reason? They don't have enough pitches to start, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Swing and a miss, 2-2. So explain to me the rush in our game collectively as an industry to rush the guys who do have enough pitches to start and pitch effectively, get them out of the game to get more of the guys who aren't as effective as starting pitchers in the game.
It's really not, in many ways, it's not any different than it's been for 100 years, right? Typically, your guys that are starting for you are your best pitchers, right?
Mm-hmm. Theoretically.
Those are the guys, theoretically.
How about that sequence? Julio just struck out Quinn.
That was really good.
Change up and it followed by a good 92 heater. That was excellent.
You know, the only difference now is, you know, you're bringing guys, you're bringing your next wave of who you trust, so to speak, after your starters out of the bullpen. Oh, but they all throw so hard, right? So now it's a more of an attractive option than it has been at any point in the history of the game. but it still doesn't mean that those guys are better than the starting pitchers that you're taking out of the game. So that's the dilemma.
Ground ball infield in's going to get the second out. And Julio's popping the hand in the glove. 2 big outs with the runner at third base, and now Hoskins will hit.
It's a theory I've heard all my life. Sooner or later, you're going to hit on somebody coming out of the bullpen that is not on tonight.
Yeah.
And you already know that your starter is on.
Yes. Yeah, in an era where, you know, again, I've said it so many times in my era. Let's say that my era, we try to get through 7 innings or you know, 8 innings. The most you wanted to leave your bullpen was to have to cover 6 outs. Today's game, it's, you know, more like 9 outs. Okay, but now you're increasing the odds that one of those 3 guys is going to be off on a given night versus one of 2 guys, right? And then you take it another step further, and in so many games now, not only we've gone from having to cover 9 outs to now we got to cover 12. Well, now you got to run 4 guys out there.
Sure.
So the likelihood of one of those guys being off is going to increase. So, you know, again, it all looks good on paper, but it doesn't always go the way it is on paper. And so what do you do to make that easier?
Popped up, and Julio's going to be out of it. This is his finest hour, a leadoff triple, and Crawford is left standing 90 feet away. That was a big league performance.
That was a Houdini.
Hoskins slams the bat down, breaks the lumber, and Julio breaks their hearts with 3 great sequences in the 6th. The Phillies had a golden opportunity to take the lead. A leadoff pinch hit triple by J.P. Crawford. Quinn struck out. Hernandez grounded out. Rhys Hoskins popped out. And we're still tied. And now with Freeman, Markakis, and Camargo coming up, look who is on to pitch for the Phillies in the 6th inning. Sir Anthony Dominguez.
How about it? A complete surprise to him, I'm sure, leading their team in saves and in the 6th inning.
He has a legit 100-mile-an-hour arm. So I'm guessing the thinking for Gabe Kapler is here. Bring out your best guy in a tie game and get the middle of the order in the 6th inning. Problem is, there's a chance you're going to see those guys in the 9th.
Exactly.
And he's not going to be pitching in the 9th inning. See how it works out.
No, and again, I get, you know, Pivetta pitch count. Maybe he was only going to go one more inning. You got the middle of the order coming up. But again, so have somebody out there in the bullpen ready. If he gives up a guy a hit, then get him out. You know, but to me, it's, again, that's the eye test for tonight. How well he's throwing that ball. If I can squeeze one more, two more, three more outs out of him, now that's less outs that those guys in the bullpen that I'm counting on have to cover. And if one of those guys that I think I'm counting on tonight has an off night, then I can go to the next guy and not be worried about having to cover an inning.
Yes. Well, something else, another consideration here. The modern day third time through the order. Nobody's supposed to be able to pitch through that.
God forbid we do that.
I feel like I've lit a firecracker.
Yeah. Look at, hey, you know, the most of these guys, the non-elite guys of the game, the Verlanders and Kershaws and DeGroms of the game.
Line drive and right to Santana, who is in the shift. Handled that one. It didn't take a hop. One out.
You know, maybe on most nights, those guys aren't good enough to flip a lineup for the third time because they don't locate well enough. So maybe they can't. But you know what? Once in a while, they're going to be able to.
Well, a lot of it is dictated in my head by pitch count. If a guy's up over 100 pitches a third time through the order, he's probably not going to have his best stuff working. But he was at
85 and hit 97
and
twice
cruising.
in that inning.
Yeah,
and cruising.
Yeah. We saw that happen here one afternoon. If you recall, and I think it was the day that I decided I liked Jacob deGrom even more than I thought I did, when he finger wagged Mickey Callaway, the manager, and said, no double switch here. I'll get this through this inning.
Yeah, you're not coming out here to get me. I love that.
Callaway hit the dirt and headed back to the dugout.
Well, the Phillies do have several other closer options available to them in this series. Hector Neris has been almost unhittable since he's come back from the minor league. So if they get the lead, I would assume he'd be the man responsible for getting the final 3 outs. So again, trying to think along with Gabe Kapler. He's going to bring in one of his 2 closing options to get these 3 outs in the 6th. Hope his offense gets the lead, then fill through the 7th and 8th, and take your chances with Neris in the 9th.
Neris or matchups in the 9th. Either way.
Strike 3 paints the corner at 98. That was nasty. 2 outs.
'96 to '98.
Yeah, not much you're going to do with that.
No.
So here's Camargo. He singled in the 2nd inning, flied out in the 3rd. Johan 1 for 2. Julio stranded a gigantic run 1/2 inning ago. A leadoff triple by J.P. Crawford off the bricks. And the Phillies could not bring him home. The Braves played the infield in, and it paid off. Nothing in 1. A 91-mile-an-hour slider.
Yeah. Johan's behind in the count, but we've seen him turn around some of the hardest throwers in the National League this year. Including that kid down in Miami, throws about 100. Tyron.
Oh, Guerrero.
Tyron
Guerrero. That scares Jeff Francoeur to death. And he's not the only one. Fly ball to left. Hoskins retreats, and Dominguez has an uneventful but perfect 1-2-3 6th. Now, as a club member, you'll take in the games in padded field level seats behind the plate, and you'll get complimentary in-seat food and beverage service, VIP parking, and more. It's the perfect way to entertain clients and prospects. And for a full list of Delta Sky 360 Club benefits, head to braves.com/premium. Yeah, those great seats right behind the plate, and those fans enjoying a great view and a great ball game. 1-1 after 6. As Drupal Cabrera will lead off the Philadelphia inning. He's flied out twice. And Julio just missed. Ball 1.
Hey, before we forget, guys, last game for our stage manager, Valerie Burrell, for our A2 audio man, Dave Poole. Thank you both for your great work all year long.
Awesome work.
Val's the best den mother in baseball. That's the way we like to put it.
And she oftentimes has to put on those earmuffs.
Yes.
Yes, she does. That's usually when Frank Coor's around, though. So, yeah, we are very lucky to work with such great people and great friends. As this ball's grounded towards second, Ozzie with backhand, and Cabrera's 0 for 3, 1 out.
Kathy often refers to it as my other family, and that is so true. Good folks. We got good people. We got some guys who can even focus a camera. That's always a plus.
Not Hammer. Nope. Nope. Perfect. It's Justin Bohr. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, I can't forget too. Now that you remind me.
Tim Smith.
Go Dogs, Smitty.
No, yeah, go Dogs. I got to wish my not so little man anymore happy birthday today. Mason, 18 today.
Really?
My goodness, where did the time go? Like you said, he was just like yesterday. He was running around the house naked.
Yeah. Well, it might have been.
Oh, yeah, it might have been. You're right.
Wayne Berry. Wayne will run around the house naked too, I'll bet. You know,
only in the winter.
Wait a minute.
We see you, Tex. You're down. Tex is down there waving right below us, like we can't see him. No, he didn't want to think about Wayne.
Wait a minute. Mason was running around the house.
Well, when he was little.
Oh, yeah. Better then than now.
Yeah.
As Bohr takes ball 4, and he's aboard with 1 out.
Just a great group. Hard workers. All loyal Braves fans. Hot dog eating champ of our camera crew, Larry. Everybody.
And we can't forget our ace weather reporter, Howard Flip Feinberg. This is his last game of the year. So thanks to one and all for what's been a great 2018 home season. We have one more telecast left. That'll be here on Sunday at home. Sanchez and Nolan. Scott Kingery's pinch running for Bohr at first base now. As Santana takes low, I guess. Tyler Flowers came out of the chute in disbelief. Jerry Davis has missed a couple of those pitches in the last 2 innings. That one was clearly a strike.
They've both been down in the zone.
My guess is that in the bottom of the inning, Kingery's going to stay in the game, and Santana will move across and play first base. Might recall the young Phillies infielder had a terrific spring and made their club out of spring training and signed a long-term contract.
That was a 6-year deal, wasn't it?
Something like that. And overall this year, he's hit .226 in 137 games. And he's played everywhere on the infield for him. I think that's going to be one of the big jobs this offseason for the Phillies, is upgrading this club from top to bottom defensively. However that manifests itself.
They have to catch the ball better. There's just no question about that.
Line drive into center, and that'll drop in front of Ender, who is playing deeply. And the Phillies have a threat here, 2 on and 1 out, and Ramos, the catcher, coming up.
Get a ground ball. Wilson Ramos again with a bad wheel, not running well. Got a real good chance at a double play, and if you get a tough one, don't give up on it.
Ramos struck out looking in the second. He bounced out softly to third back in the 5th inning. The Phillies have but 3 hits in the game. They have a homer, they have a triple, they have a single. Julio's walked 2, struck out 5. Big spot in the game now. And bang, foul at the plate, strike 1. St. Louis is home tonight, playing the Giants, facing Madison Bumgarner. That's John Gant, the former Brave, squaring off with the San Fran lefty. Cardinals could gain ground on the Brewers and the Cubs if Milwaukee loses tonight. Cubs have already been beaten. The pitch, swing and a miss, 0-2.
That's such a good pitch right there. Ramos, you can see, stands well off the plate, open stance, inviting you to pitch him away, and Julio did with this slider, but at a spot where he couldn't reach it.
Yeah, can't do anything with it. That's one that you almost wish he wouldn't swing and miss, because if he does make contact, it's going to be that weak ground ball you're looking for.
Oh boy, that was close. That was too close for comfort. He just missed a double. Kingery at second, Santana at first. Kingery pinch running for Bohr, who walked. And now the 0-2 to the Phillies catcher, Wilson Ramos. Won't be made. Julio steps off.
Yeah, this is where after that swing there, that foul ball, you figure you've got him set up for something inside. But it looked like they're going to go back away with something.
Fly ball toward Acuna in left. It's over his head. He misjudged it. That's going to roll to the wall. Kingery will score. Santana around third. He's going to score. Acuna misjudged the fly ball to left, and instead of a second out, the Phillies get 2 runs and the lead.
Yeah, I was hoping he was seeing something that I wasn't seeing.
Me too.
I was right away. I was like, uh-oh.
He got fooled by the swing and that what looked like a ball off the end of the bat. What a tough break. Bad luck for Julio.
So Altair will pinch hit for Ramos, who drives in 2 runs. And the Phillies cash in the walk and the single. And again, instead of 2 outs in a tie game, Philadelphia has jumped in front.
Herrera gets the intentional pass.
And former Brave Jose Bautista will come on and hit for Dominguez, who worked a perfect inning.
I was with you, Tommy. I was kind of surprised that Ronald was taking such a sharp, actually coming in on the ball, angle for that ball. I thought, well, I must have misjudged it off the bat.
Bautista hitting 197 this year between Atlanta, the Mets, and the Phillies. Bautista with 12 homers and 46 runs batted in overall this year. So we'll have a whole host of changes for Philadelphia defensively when the Braves come up in the 7th. The good news is they won't have Pivetta and Dominguez to worry about. The Braves will go deeper into the Phillies bullpen. They've got 9 outs left offensively, down 2 runs. And now Atlanta's bullpen starts to work for the first time. Pat Neshek, the submarining right-hander, is getting ready. Here's he'll pitch the 7th. Line drive in left field. That's going to get down for a hit. Altair around third. Acuna's throw toward the plate is going to be late. And Jose Bautista comes back to haunt his former club. A pinch hit single for him brings home Altair. And the Phillies now lead 4-1. And Brian Snitker is on his way out now that Quinn has been announced. And that is going to be the end of the line for Tehran. This will be one of the more deceptive pitching lines of the season for any Braves starter tonight. Julio departs after 6 1/3 innings. He's given up 4 runs. But quite frankly, he ought to be in a tie game. But a misplay in left costs Atlanta at least 2 runs in the inning. Use promo code SAVE100. Well, a real disappointing and unfortunate turn of events for Julio Tehran in the 7th inning. A 1-out walk, a Santana single, and then a misplay in left. Brought home 2 Phillies. Bautista with a base hit makes it a 3-run inning, and that's the end of the line for Tehran tonight after 6 1/3 innings of excellent baseball. Again, that remarkable job getting out of trouble an inning ago after the leadoff triple might have been his best inning all year.
And adding insult to injury was that there's no error charged. It was just a misplay, so all the runs are earned.
Yeah, frustrating ending to what otherwise was a good night and a well-pitched game by Julio.
Sure was.
So Johnny Venters will try to put out the fire here with Roman Quinn. 2 on, 1 out. Phillies have 3 across in the 7th. They lead 4-1 now. And a high chopper out of reach of Camargo. Dansby's throw is going to be to first. Good stretch. That's the only play Dansby had. Runners advance to second and third. 1 pitch earns Venters the 2nd out of the inning.
That was a good play. Johan trying to get to it. You're anticipating that he's going to, but you got to be prepared that he's not. Make the adjustment. Throw back across the body on a speedy runner. Good play.
Johan was playing in just in case he dropped a bunt down. If he's playing his normal position, he cuts in front of that and gets it easily.
So Cesar Hernandez homered to start the game. That was the first and only Phillies hit until Crawford led off the 6th inning with a triple. They have 3 hits and a couple of walks here in the 7th inning. Swinging bunt is foul. Hernandez swung late. It's 0-2. Johnny looks fresh tonight. Well, the Braves have come back against the Phillies in Atlanta before. Perhaps they can do it again tonight. Opening day, Braves were down 5-0 to the Phillies after 5.5 innings. Braves got 3 in the 8th and 9th.
Scored 5 runs last night in the 7th and 8th.
Check swing, roller toward Ozzie. He gloves, fires to first. That was close, but in time. And that retires the side. A misplay for Atlanta helps the Phillies score 3 runs in the 7th inning. 8 come to the plate, 3 score. It's now a 4-1 game with Flowers, Albies, and Dansby Swanson expected to hit for Atlanta next. Big now to stretch. It's presented by Advance Auto Parts.
The Stretch is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts and in part by Castrol GTX Motor Oil.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back into our Braves Live set here in the Battery Atlanta. I'm Kelsey Wingert alongside Nick Green. Hard to believe this is the last home series of the regular season, and we've been talking about the good work that we've been seeing from the Braves. We've been talking about the good work we've been seeing from Freddie Freeman and how that's kind of vaulted him into the discussion for the NL MVP. But Nick, there is a lot of competition in that category this year.
Love Christian Yelich. First season in Milwaukee has been the best of his career. He's been outstanding. 2 cycles this year. By the way, Javi Baez, his defensive versatility is absolutely incredible. 75 games, started at second, 18 at third, and 41 at shortstop. Career highs all the way across the board for him. Nolan Arenado, second in the National League in home runs, 34, fourth in RBIs. Has over 100 RBIs for the 4th straight year. Carpenter from St. Louis leads the National League in home runs at 35, 40 doubles for him. He's been outstanding for St. Louis and Freddie Freeman. We know what he's done this year. Might get 100 RBIs for the first time since 2013. Will hit over 300 for the 3rd straight year. Top 5 in average and OPS.
Yeah, and take a look at those hits. He ranks first in the NL with 185 hits. You see all of the categories Christian Yelich leads in. 34 home runs for Nolan. Man, we have quite a list of guys there who are very worthy of the NL MVP. We'll see who gets it, but for now, let's get you right back up to the booth with Chip Joe and Tom Glavin after a quick word from our friends at Advance Auto Parts.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back on the road.
You know, guys, that MVP race, when you look at it that way, it could be regional, you know, in terms of the voting, because it's coast to coast with who might win it and how the vote might get split up pretty evenly.
I think that's going to be a fascinating vote tally, much like the National League Cy Young. Is the win important or not? That's going to be.
Not anymore. It's not. Right. DeGrom did it again tonight, and he won. Scherzer's had a couple of bad ones here down the stretch. I think that's DeGrom's now.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, the game is Pat Neshek's now. He's got a 4-1 lead. He'll face the bottom part of the Braves order. Flowers, Albies, Swanson, and then the pitcher's spot. Hopefully Atlanta can get something done against a man who's, as you see, had 28 terrific games. And what a radical change, Joe, for the Braves offense. Two hard throwers in Pivetta and Dominguez. Now you've got a guy that looks like he's throwing uphill.
He is. He most definitely is. This is when he likes to pitch, when he can come in and start an inning.
Neshek was signed by the Phillies before Christmas Day in 2017. He signed through this year. There's a club option for his services next year. And last season he rewarded the Phillies with an all-star season. And that just missed to Tyler Flowers. A ball and 2 strikes. He's no kid, Neshek. He's 38 years old now. Lives in Vero Beach. Pitched with the Twins, the Padres, the A's, the Cardinals, the Astros, Phillies, and Rockies. And he just gave up a 2-strike hit to Tyler Flowers to start the inning.
That almost took some shoe polish with it.
Yeah.
So there's a start for Atlanta. And Ozzy's the batter. Joe, any advantage for Albies the way Neshek delivers the baseball with him hitting left-handed here? Maybe.
Yes.
Fly ball deep right.
Yes.
Home run.
The answer is yes.
As soon as that ball left Neshek's hands, he was saying naughty things.
Was that him or was that Ozzy grunting?
I think it was Neshek.
Okay.
A 2-run homer. We got a 1-run game.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's hard to get on top of a ball if it's high. That ball was down, and he got on top of it and crushed it.
It has been a while for Ozzy to make that tour. And all of a sudden the chop shop has come to life. Ozzy Albies first homer since September 3rd against the Red Sox. That is his 3rd homer in his last 58 games. He had 20 homers his first 90. And if he starts getting going.
Oh, baby, won't that be something?
Yeah.
That was great.
Well, it would only be fair that the Braves at least tie the score, because Julio does not deserve to lose.
No, he does
the game
not.
tonight.
So Dansby Swanson the batter. And that's downstairs. Lucas Duda, who's been a Phillies killer over the course of his career, is waiting on deck.
That gives Ozzy 70 RBIs.
2 balls and a strike. Lucas Duda, by the way, in 91 career games against the Phillies, has 22 homers.
Goodness.
That is more than any other Brave in the home run column against the Phillies. And now he's going to be taking down Preston Tucker. He is going to grab a bat. Braves might save Duda for the 8th, 9th, or maybe even the 10th. But we're not there yet, as Neshek has come in and given up a hit, a homer, and now a walk, and the Braves have the go-ahead man coming to the plate.
Well, look, I'm not trying to be overly critical or beat a dead horse, but this is what we were talking about. You know, the more guys you run out of there, the more likely you're going to run into somebody who doesn't have it on a given night. And right now, we're seeing it, and the Braves are back in it.
They have someone throwing in the bullpen, but he hasn't been up very long.
So Neshek, it's Luis Avilan. Neshek has given up a run in his first game in the last 9 he's pitched tonight. He'd only given up 3 earned runs all year. He's given up 2 to 2 batters in this inning.
Yeah, his numbers have been really good. 1.47 ERA since the start of last year. It's the lowest among all qualifying relievers with a minimum of 50 innings pitched. So he's been good.
So it will be Duda, not Tucker. Lucas Duda had a big hit for the Braves last night. He had an RBI double in the 7th. That put Atlanta in front.
Was Tucker announced?
Don't know the answer to that. And a strike. So again, Duda has clobbered the Phillies. You've got a fast runner at first, a man with a slow delivery on the mound. Let's see how it's played here.
This guy is a sinker ball pitcher by nature, and that means typically the ball is going to be down. Lucas Duda is an excellent low ball hitter.
One ball, one strike. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Duda looked back at Jerry Davis. It must have grazed the plate, but I don't think it did. That was right over the chalk of the right-hand batter's box.
That never had the plate.
That pitcher's in the same spot, and now the Phillies are saying, why is that not a strike?
A little further out. Good pitch, smart pitch. Try to expand it, see if he can go a little bit further. Almost got him to chase. Got him set up for something in if he wants to dare go in there.
That scatters the Braves in the Atlanta dugout.
That was head high going over that railing. Whew. That's why he didn't want to go in there.
Yes. Well, at least he did. Now he's at least put it in his brain a little bit. There's some elevated heart rates down there right now.
You know it.
And certainly one on the mound for the Phillies. Neshek hasn't retired a hitter yet. The 2-2 is squibbed the other way. That's through for a base hit. It's a race to third base. Dansby's on his way. Throw is high. He's safe. I think the Phillies expected that from Duda, and then Cabrera tried to get to the bag ahead of Swanson, and Atlanta's got him at the corners now with nobody out. Ron Washington told Dansby to get down, and he did. Another pinch hit for Duda, and now the Braves in business.
I love that. Good call, Chip. The race to third base. That was awesome.
That was great. Dansby saw it right away. Before he got to second base, he knew there was going to be a sprint to third, and he took a shot. Again, part of that aggressive Braves base running all year long.
So Lane Adams is the pinch runner at first base for Duda, and the man in the batter's box is thinking about redemption right here. Ronald Acuna with the misplay in left cost the Braves a couple of runs last offensive inning for the Phillies. And listen to SunTrust Park. I mean, the fans are on their feet down in the lower bowl. 34,000 strong, hoping Atlanta can come back in the late innings, which they've done all year long. 2 runs across, first and third, nobody out. Pretty good pitch. And an even better take by Acuna.
He got a gift earlier on Duda.
One ball, one strike. Fly ball down the line and right. That's going to head for the seats foul.
That was close to a balk.
Yeah, he's been every time. There's not much of a stop as much as it is just kind of a change in direction.
Fast man at third, fast man at first, fast man in the batter's box. Infield in, and Acuna laid off. You see the Phillies infield alignment. Bouncing ball hit toward third. Cabrera knocks it down. Throw to the plate is going to be in time. Good play by Cabrera, whose momentum was into foul ground, and he threw a strike to the plate.
There were a lot of things that could have gone wrong here, and none of them did for the Phillies. Good play by Cabrera and an excellent play by Alfaro.
The Braves might look at this. He tagged Swanson up on the shoulder, and Jerry Davis called him out at the plate. I'm not so sure his foot didn't get to the plate before the tag. Atlanta's not going to challenge it. They're going to take a look. Boy, that was close.
Yeah,
Yep, they got him.
Yeah,
they did. So Acuna bounces into the fielder's choice. Adams the runner at second. Acuna's at first. And Pat Neshek will skip to the Phillies dugout after surrendering a single and a homer to bring the Braves to within a run. It's an electric atmosphere at SunTrust Park tonight. Luis Avilan for the Phillies in a moment.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Synovus, the bank of here.
Luis Avilan has been a nice pickup for Philadelphia. Those are his numbers between the White Sox and the Phillies.
He did a great job here last night. Came in with inherited runners in the 7th inning and struck out Freeman and got Markakis to end the inning on a fly ball to right.
Ender is 0 for 3 tonight. Much improved work against lefties. Let's see if that continues here. And that stayed high. 1 ball, no strikes. Avilan looks in at Jerry Davis, wanting to know where that pitch was.
Threw that a couple times last night. Same situation. Get into the count with a hitter. Left that one up.
All these runners belong to Neshek. It's a 1-run Phillies game. And now an even count. Mets won 4-2 was the final score. Jacob deGrom got the victory. I believe Robert Gesellman got the final outs for New York. The Miami Marlins beat the Reds 1-0 in 10 innings tonight. Arizona leads Colorado in a big game out west. 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Colorado's gone ice cold, haven't they?
They have offensive problems, and you wonder if that sweep at the hands of the Dodgers just has sucked the life out of the Rockies, who've never won the Western Division title. Now they're looking up at Los Angeles in first position. Freeman on deck. Kingery playing hide and seek with Lane Adams at second. The pitch is swung on, line drive, base hit. That's headed for right. Here comes Lane. He's going to score. Streaking for third is Acuna. He'll stop there. It's a double by Ender, and the Braves have tied it up. That's as fired up as I have ever seen Ender Inciarte.
He is wearing out some left-handed pitching. Fastball split the plate, and he didn't miss it.
The Phillies will walk Freeman intentionally, but it really is pick your poison for Philadelphia because both Freeman and Markakis hit left-handers so well.
Yeah, you're just playing the odds here. Obviously set up for a double play, or at least a force play at home plate even.
So 3 in the 7th for Atlanta. 260 runs from the 7th inning on for the Braves this year. And now Nick Markakis, who walked off Atlanta on opening day against these guys, has a chance to put the Braves in front.
I mentioned he was retired last night by Avilan on a fly ball to right. He'd take that right here.
You bet. Bases full of Braves and only 1 out. And while we have a moment, let's set the Phillies defensively because they've made a ton of changes with all the pinch running they did last inning. Hoskins, Quinn, and Bautista left to right in the outfield. Cabrera's at third, Kingery's at short, Santana is at first, and Jorge Alfaro is behind the plate. So keep that in mind. No balls and a strike. Neshek's allowed 3 runs. Acuna belongs to him. He's 90 feet away. The pitch. Popped him up. Oh, and Markakis is red hot. Infield fly retires him. Game still tied. 2 outs.
Well, that's where Johan's got to pick him up right here. Braves have been so good at 2-out runs all year long.
So that quiets the crowd for the moment. Let's see what Camargo can do. He singled his first time up. So the walk pays off for the moment. But the Phillies not out of the woods yet. Camargo, the 9th man to hit in the inning.
I like this matchup too.
Yeah.
For Johan, because I don't think Avilan can throw the ball by him. It's a matter of Johan being patient and maybe early in the count looking for something off speed.
Yeah, don't chase that changeup down out of the zone.
No.
Make him elevate it or take it and get him into a fastball count.
One ball, no strikes. The man that started the party is the man on deck, Tyler Flowers. Three in the top of the 7th for the Philadelphia. 3 in the bottom half for Atlanta.
There it was. That's the one you don't want him to chase. It's amazing the things they've done with 2 outs.
Well, they're such a good contact team, Tom. You know, they don't strike out a lot. They're good at putting the ball in play. When you put it in play, good things happen.
Yep. It's so uplifting for them and so demoralizing for the team that they're scoring the 2-out runs against.
Alfaro called time for the Phillies behind the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana to catcher's crouch at first base. Now he stands up with a 1-1 coming for Camargo. Chased it again. It's 1-2.
I'm not sure any of them have been strikes.
No.
I think it'd probably be a 3-0 count.
Got to remember who's in trouble. It was Avilan. Now with 2 strikes, it's the Braves batter Camargo's got to protect here.
Well, if you're Avilan, do you go there one more time or do you go in before you go out there? And
he did go out there and a good take, even count.
Yeah, that was a good take. That was probably the best one he's thrown.
Might have been, and this is a real key pitch for Avilan. Does he try to entice him again, or does he throw him a breaking ball down and in? Because if he goes 3-2, he doesn't have a lot of choices.
And you can see him pondering his options as he very slowly makes contact with the rubber. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. In the dirt. Good take again. So now we're going to really have some fun. Everybody's up.
About as loud as I've heard SunTrust Park this year. Maybe ever.
3 balls, 2 strikes. He's got to throw a strike, and he wants to think it over. So here we go. Runners will lead and go with the pitch. Fouled away. Did not appear to be a strike.
No,
but he didn't want to get caught.
Yeah, I'll give him credit for saying it's too close to take. The ones that were off the plate earlier in the count he would like to have back and not have swung at, but that one he had to try to protect.
Well, with a steady diet out there, he's got him set up for something inside. I don't know if he's got the wherewithal to do it right here, but
Acuna, NCRT, and Freeman the runners, third to first. Another 3-2 pitch for Camargo is on the way. Line drive, base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Ender. He hopscotched over that shot to left, and Atlanta's taken the lead.
How in the world did that ball not hit Ender? Looked like Ronaldo Nehemiah hurdling.
Went down and got it. What a leap. And he still kept his stride and scored easily. And look at the Braves dugout. Atlanta has come back with 5 runs in the 7th inning. A huge at bat for Camargo. And the Braves are chopping away. It's now 6-4 as this long and very productive bottom of the 7th inning continues.
Just crazy. He went an inning and a third last night and was perfect, zeros across.
So Tyler Flowers, the man that got it started, will hit again. The Braves lead 6-4 as Ramos turns it loose. And that's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. 6 runs, 9 hits for Atlanta.
Another great thing about this ball club is their ability to pick each other up, covering up the mistake by Acuna in left field, picking up Nick Markakis, who popped up.
I think what makes the Braves so dangerous is their fearlessness in this portion of a game. When you think of all the runs, all the 2-out rallies, all the big hits they've gotten against the hard-throwing 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guys throughout the major leagues this year, that is some kind of awesome. They don't always win, but more often than not, Joe, as we've said, they give you a finish.
They're exciting.
Yeah.
They're just very exciting. And because they have a history of this, you anticipate it, and you're surprised, of course, but not shocked.
Right.
Because they keep doing it over and over.
And I think their mindset is, because they've done it so much, is they fully expect at some point late in the game, if they're behind, to have a chance to tie or go ahead. They may not do it, but they're going to have a chance.
Going to give you a finish.
Tyler Flowers got a green light, 3-0, fouled that pitch off. He's got 3-1 coming now. 3 balls, 1 strike. Tyler thought that was high. Looked like it got the upper portion of the strike zone. And again, the Braves runners will be off with the pitch.
Pretty gutsy pitch there, 3-1.
Yeah.
40th pitch of the inning coming.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Popped up. Santana at first is there, and he's got it. And the inning is over, but what an inning it was. 10 come to the plate, 5 of them score. Ozzie Albies with a 2-run homer. Ender Inciarte with a big run-scoring double. And then Johan Camargo combs one to left to bring home 2 more. Our Coors Light refreshing finish sends us to the 8th.
And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
Hard to pick one hero for Atlanta in the 7th inning, I beg your pardon, but you could certainly make a case for Johan Camargo and Ozzie Albies. 2 run-scoring hits for both of those men. As Atlanta now turns things over to Chad Sabatka, who opened everybody's eyes with a perfect 3-strikeout 9th inning yesterday.
And that's why he's out there right now. I can guarantee it.
Do it again.
Yeah, you got to find out.
You don't have to strike out all 3, but have a great outing again. Tell you what I love about this guy, Tommy, is that he's a big, tall horse, but he throws downhill.
Yes, he does.
He uses his leverage really well.
Yeah, I see a lot of tall guys that collapse on that back leg and shrink down to 5'10". He uses every bit of what he's got.
Quit looking at me when you say that. Tom, ball 2. 2-0 the count for Rhys Hoskins, who's 0 for 3. I'm with you, Joe. That was as loud as I've heard SunTrust Park. It was an incredible Atlanta rally. But you got to come in and throw strikes now. Don't want to give the Phillies some hope with the heart of their order coming up. And this is the challenge. Braves are looking for some consistency out of these 7th and 8th inning guys. Make them put it in play. And that one right there. Tom, we were talking with Brian Snitker about Sabatka's performance. What he liked the most was he just turned the ball loose.
Yeah.
There was no aiming. It was, here it is.
Yeah, and look, that's why he's out there right now, is what he did last night. And if he's going to be thought of as an option in the postseason, he's got to pitch these kinds of innings now.
Popped up. Will it stay in play for Freddie? Sadly, it won't. But Hoskins now faces a 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, it's one thing to go out there in the 8th inning when you got a 4-run lead or a 5-run lead. It's another thing to go out there in the 8th inning when it's a 2-run lead and the game's still very much in the balance. And these are the kinds of innings, if he is on the playoff roster when they get there, if they get there, I don't want to jinx anything. He's going to have to pitch these kinds of innings, so you got to find out now if he can do it.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Like the last 2 pitches.
I love this. I mean, you fall behind, you come back. There's no reason to try to get tricky at all. Just keep pounding that fastball.
And if he hits it out, you lead by a run.
Yeah.
Another full count pitch. Here it is. And Hoskins had it covered at 97 miles an hour. Three balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Popped him up. That's going to hang up forever for somebody who wants it. It's going to be Ender and Ciarte, and Hoskins retired 1 out. Good comeback.
Attaboy, very good.
Braves Fantasy Camp returns in January 2019. As a Braves Fantasy Camper, you'll report to Orlando, where you'll get a personalized uniform hanging in your locker. Quality time with Braves alumni and a whole lot more fun. Space is limited. Sign up for Braves Fantasy Camp at Braves.com.
Sign of a really good take command center fielder. Good play by Ender on a ball that could have been caught by a couple of different people, but he wanted it and let everybody know.
Talk all the time, Joe, about first-round picks and the like and the importance of them. Sabatka was a 4th-round choice, and here he is. Who would have thought that Chad Sabatka would be pitching meaningful innings for the Braves in mid to late September? Well, he's earned the opportunity with terrific numbers in the minor leagues. And oh, by the way, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball doesn't hurt either.
Nope. As long as you can throw it for strikes.
Quiet night for Cabrera so far. He's 0 for 3. And now Sabatka has him behind in the count, 1-2. And he just struck him out. 2 up, 2 down in the 8th. You throw 97 and you drop something like that on a hitter. That's almost unfair.
Wow. You'll get him to swing at that because you can command your fastball.
Right to the back point of the plate. And here's Scott Kingery. He entered the game as a pinch runner in the 7th and scored on the Ramos double to left field. And that pushed him off the plate. Ball 1. Kingery, as I said, has played all over the diamond for the Phillies. Most of his time has been at shortstop. 8 games at third, 3 in left, 2 at second, and 2 in right.
And the odd thing is that he's a second baseman.
Yeah.
No place for him to play because of Hernandez. But they brought him up, gave him a big deal to be a utility guy at a very early age, very young age.
One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Base is empty in the Phillies' 8th. And that's line to right. Markakis read that, and a good inning for Sabathia. He fell behind Hoskins 3-0, got him to pop out, a strikeout and a line out later, and the Braves are in command going to the bottom of the 8th. Inbound Atlanta United versus Real Salt Lake tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast. Your fall lineups presented by Landmark Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Ozzie Albies electrified the crowd his last time up. A 2-out home run brought the Braves to within a run. Here it is on StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Got a pitch down that he could lift out just under 400 feet. Out into the chop house. That got everybody fired up after Tyler Flowers had led off the inning with a single.
So Hector Neris is on to pitch. Forget the gaudy numbers you see there. He has been much better since he's come back from the minor leagues for the Phillies. And a broken bat ground ball to second will earn him the first out. He's got a filthy split finger pitch, and he might have just used it.
Yeah, he did.
Since he's come back from AAA, Neris has pitched 14 scoreless games out of the 16 he's appeared with the Phillies. 29 strikeouts of the 57 batters faced. And he said the big key was he just stopped thinking.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Yeah, something to be said for that.
So he gets the first out, and Dansby Swanson's the batter. Looking ahead to the ninth inning, Santana, Alfaro, and the pitcher spot are scheduled for the Phillies. You can see why the Phillies feel so good about their bullpen going forward, assuming Neris can keep throwing strikes. With him and with Sir Anthony Dominguez, that is two big-time power arms that they will have available for years to come. Lots to like about their rotation. Pivetta pitched great again against Atlanta. Taken out after 5 innings and 87 pitches by Gabe Kapler. Now Neris, the fourth reliever to work in game 2 tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that one missed for a full count.
Good at bat.
That's lashed to right and curling foul into the seats. An absolutely perfect night in Atlanta. Big crowd, 34,000 plus, enjoying the view from our Xfinity cam. If this score holds, Atlanta's magic number to clinch the East will be down to 2. That means if the Braves win this one tonight and win tomorrow, they own the East. Fouled away. It's a full count. Mike Fultonevich has the ball with Jake Arrieta tomorrow. That game is at 1:05. Again, if you hold tickets, the original start time was tomorrow night with national TV covering this series. Make sure you get here in time for game 3 at 1:05. Joe, Tom and I will be back with you on Sunday for the home finale. That game starts at 1:35. The pitch. Strike 3, paints a corner. Lansby not too sure about that. It was close. And now the Braves will go to the bench. Preston Tucker is going to grab a bat. He'll hit for Atlanta with 2 outs.
A little generous there. Yep. A 96-mile-an-hour crossfire from Neris. Obviously, Preston Tucker was not announced earlier.
So no hit for Sabatka, who pitched a perfect inning with a strikeout. A.J. Minter looks to be getting ready in the Atlanta pen. As Tucker takes outside, ball 1.
That's good, because A.J. needs more games like this, too.
Yes.
Talked a lot earlier in this series and earlier in the week about some unsung heroes in the early days of the season. This guy's one of them. Where would the Braves be without Preston Tucker's great work in the first days of the campaign? Mr. Tucker was Mr. 3-run homer for Atlanta in the early weeks of the season. Tucker started the year with a 7-game hitting streak, a couple of homers, 9 RBIs. He was playing left field for Atlanta. Brandon McCarthy went 4-0 against the Phillies in rotation this year. Ryan Flaherty was the starting third baseman while Johan Camargo was out with a bad back and a bad side. Ryan played so well for a short stretch. He actually led the National League in hitting. So where would the Braves be without guys like this? So tip your cap to them as Tucker takes a walk and is aboard with 2 outs. And another chance for Ronald Acuna here.
Yeah, don't forget about them. That's the thing. When everyone was kind of looking at it as, oh, that's that's nice for the Braves. They're off to a good start.
Yeah. Well, it takes all 25 guys and then some during the course of the year to contribute, and the Braves have certainly gotten that.
Well, this is a mano-a-mano matchup here. Power versus power, and Harris got the first one by Acuna. Ronald's reached 3 times, scored twice. One ball, 1 strike. And obviously those aren't the only contributions by unsung heroes. Remember Chris Stewart. He stepped in for Atlanta when Tyler Flowers got hurt on opening day. Braves used 3 different catchers in the first 3 games of the year. And Stewart helped out until Flowers came back. Just now with the Arizona Diamondbacks. One ball, 2 strikes. Runner goes. The pitch is strike 3 called, and Acuna's rung up to end the bottom of the 8th inning. So here we go to the 9th inning. The Braves need 3 outs for a magic number of 2 tonight.
We are keeping tabs on what the Nationals are doing. They're taking on the Mets tonight. Let's check it out with our Xfinity game break. The Mets looking to take a 2-0 series lead. Jacob deGrom on the mound, and he dealt. He struck out 8 guys, only giving up 1 run and 3 hits and 7 innings of work on 98 pitches. His 23rd consecutive quality start this year. That is now the most in MLB history. The Mets took that one over the Nats tonight. 4-2 was your final. And guys, Jacob deGrom actually got the win.
Yes, he did.
What a bonus. They got 4 whole runs to work with.
Yeah, they got 4 runs. He was probably like, my goodness.
That's 2 weeks worth.
Yeah.
Well, A.J. Minter has 2 runs to play with tonight. He has called on for his 15th save, trying to protect a 6-4 Atlanta lead. Santana, Alfaro, and then a pinch hitter coming up for Philadelphia. The Braves with a 5-run 7th. Flipped around a 4-1 Phillies lead by sending 10 to the plate. And a good start from Minter, strike 1. Santana singled and scored in the 7th. Little chopper foul. It's 0-2. There's that hard biting cutter.
AJ coming in, when he comes in and throws strike 1, it sets the tone for his whole inning. He doesn't press then to try to get a strike in there and not be loose. This way he is loosey-goosey and letting it go.
High hopper toward short. Dansby's got it. Throw to first. There's the first out.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Synovus, the bank of here.
Minter gets the first man. Now Alfaro's coming up. Alfaro started last night. He went 1 for 3, an RBI hit and a couple of strikeouts. Way up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Margot hugs the line at third. The 1-0 pitch. 97 and right on by. Well, how about the turnaround for the Braves bullpen? Knock on wood in this series. Braves relievers haven't given up a run in the first 2 games.
One of the things going forward, if and when they clinch and get to the postseason, there's no room for rest. With all the efforts to try to keep guys like Minter from having to throw 3 days in a row, for example, you're going to get days off in between for travel days, but you might be called upon to work a lot and often.
2 balls, 1 strike.
I know. You don't play 3 days in a row in postseason, right?
No.
And I know sometimes it's a little goofy, maybe where if you had that early off day, you might have to play 3 games in a row in the back end. But for the most part, yeah, you're getting an off day every 2 days. So.
Two and 2 for Alfaro. 1 out, 9th inning. He made contact twice off the bat and off his body.
Are the league championship series and the World Series, are those 2, 3, and 2?
I believe so, yes.
There would be a 3-day in a row in the middle.
For the 7-game series,
for
yes.
The 7s.
And I guess the only wrinkle for the division series would be just bad weather. And then are up against it with the TV schedule and the calendar.
Yes, Riley looked it up. It's 2-3-2.
6-4 Atlanta. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Alfaro. Hit high in the air, right center. Ender on the run, streaking toward the wall. Leaps up, won't get it. Backed up by Markakis, but it ricochets by him. And Alfaro's on his way to third. And that's where he'll stand with 1 out. So Philadelphia will bring the tying run to the plate. Great effort by Ender. But that ball bounced harder off the wall than anyone expected, and Alfaro stands at third base.
Yeah, it snuck by Nick, who was trying to back Ender up here off the wall, but it hit so hard it got by him.
And now Atlanta will face a familiar nemesis, Michael Franco. Franco's been battling injury. See the big pad on his elbow. You still lead by 2. Braves were trading out for a run. As that misses upstairs, ball 1.
He is hurt or not, he wants something to pull, and he wants to lift and pull.
So he bats for Neris, who struck out 2 in his inning of work. The pitch. Ball high. Come on, AJ. 2-0 the count. As Joe said, Minter needs innings like this. He needs experience like this. He's doing something he's never done before. Closing meaningful major league games in September. The pitch.
Franco got a good pitch to hit there. He wanted back. You can see his frustration. He's a guy many times we've seen come to the plate and pull 4 or 5 guys, balls like rockets down the third baseline foul. Hard to get the ball by him.
Yeah, that's what makes it a little bit more of an imposing matchup for AJ too, because he's more comfortable in there on righties with his fastball and his cutter. But a guy like this, you better get it in there.
Pulled a string.
Good pitch.
Change up.
Yep.
So it's a 2-2 count now.
Wasn't in a good place, but it was certainly a good change of speed.
Yeah, it didn't have to be.
No.
I mean, you know, he's tried to go out there with his fastball to keep him off the inner part of the plate, and he's missed twice. 2-1 count. He's only seen hard out there, so he sees that pitch away, he thinks it's a fastball, and missed it by a foot.
Good call by Tyler. This guy doesn't strike out much either. For being a free swinger, 22 homers, 67 RBIs. He struck out 62 times in 425 at bats.
Another 2-2 pitch is coming for Franco. Yanked foul.
There you go.
Pitch number 7 of this at bat. And we'll see an 8th. So he sped him up inside a couple of times. Would he dare to float that changeup again?
Well, if he throws it again, don't float it like you did the first one.
No.
Got to be down. Can't expect to get away with that one elevated again. You fooled him once with the change of speed. You can't expect to do it again.
And here it comes.
Broken bat, line drive. It's a 1-run game.
And the irony is that was a much better pitch.
It was.
The bat split lengthwise, and the Phillies are down 6-5 now in the 9th inning. Chuck Hernandez is on his way out. I'm sure he's going to say to AJ what you just said. That was a good pitch. Much like the one Camargo hit.
Yeah, you know, like we say all the time, sometimes you make a good pitch and the guy with the bat in his hand just does a better job, and that was one of those cases. So here you got to gather yourself, forget about that, get back to concentrating here and finish this inning.
So Franco, after the base hit, is taken down for a pinch runner. It's Pedro Florimon who will be the runner. Florimon, you might recall, was a position player who pitched for the Phillies in the 3rd game of the year here. So he'll pitch in by pinch running in a 1-run game in the 9th.
Did I hear somewhere that somebody used a position player to pitch this month when everybody's got 20 pitchers on their staff?
I didn't hear that. Wouldn't surprise me, though. So let's see what Minter has for Bautista. He singled home a run in the 7th inning. Jose doesn't hit the ball on the ground too often, but a double play could end the game. Did it go? He did. Strike 1. Jerry Davis said yes immediately.
Did he go? Oh, gosh, yeah. Backup catcher for the Angels pitched.
I was going to say, if it happened, it had to be in that 21-3 game.
Yeah.
Fly ball, shallow right. Markakis coming in. He's got room. There's the 2nd out. Bautista tried to launch. Got it airborne, but not deep enough, and the Braves are an out away. And it's Roman Quinn. Talk about big plays in a ball game. Roman Quinn overslid 3rd base earlier tonight. In a 1-run game, plays like that get magnified. Well, let's see if Minter can end it here. Runner at first is Florimon. Ball one.
Camargo's in close inside the bag at third base. I'd like to see him even closer to the line.
Yeah.
Florimon can really run. And as long as the ball's hit to Camargo's left, if it goes through, he can't score. But down the line, he could.
Acuna moved 2 steps to his left, in left. And that's low. Ball 2.
Another one on the lower portion of the strike zone, didn't get the call.
A ground out, a triple, a single, a fly out, and now Quinn, the final hope for the Phillies. 2 balls, no strikes to him. Now Camargo moves a step closer to the line at third. And that's exactly where they hit it, but it's foul. Good pickup, Joe.
You just have to prevent that ball. I mean, if it bounces over his head, that's one thing. But you got to prevent anything going right over the bag near the line.
That's another one of those things that in today's game has changed. Down a run, 2-0 count, and you're swinging. That would have been a no-no.
Now it's 2-1 for Quinn. And now the Braves are a strike away. So a lot of change-ups in this inning. And the crowd will tell you the outcome with this next pitch.
Well, whatever you think you can get him out on, throw it here. Don't go to 3-2. I know that sounds obvious, but I guess a better way to say it, whatever you think your best pitch is that you can make right here, make it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Out away. Florimon leads at first. Here it comes. Excellent take. It was off the plate. Full count.
That was really a good try. Just missed.
Yeah, really good pitch. Really good take.
So now Florimon with a 3-2 count will be off with the pitch. Can't get a giant lead as Freddie holds him at first. And here it is. Strike 3. Ball game over.
Backdoor cutter. Beauty.
A huge Atlanta 7th inning erases a 4-1 Phillies lead. Albies a 2-run homer. Camargo with a 2-run single. And how apropos is that? Because the magic number for the Braves is now 2 with 2 games left against the Phillies here in Atlanta. 6-5, Atlanta wins game 2.